Better Sunday sa ating lahat po. Today is February, ano na tayo ngayon ha? February 15 na tayo. Tapos na ang Valentine's Day. And ito po, si Nico Fabian. Nandito naman sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Welcome to each and every one of you, be it in Malaysia, mga Filipinos, Malaysian friends, overseas Filipinos, wherever you are, sa iba-ibang parte ng mundo, ang mga kababayan, kapatid, and kaibigan natin dyan po sa Pilipinas. Kumusta kayo po? And I hope ngayon Sunday, this will be you started ang Sunday natin po, no? Ang Sunday ninyo po okay na okay po. And nandito si Nico to give you ang mga latest updates tungkol what is happening in the Philippines. Of course, I am sure my fellow countrymen na kababayan ko po dito sa Malaysia, you also want to know what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas, especially on important and very hot issues dyan po sa Pilipinas. Because whether we like it or not po, whatever is happening in the Philippines po, it will or we will also be affected. Not only tayo mga overseas Filipino workers, but of course, ang mga loved ones natin of which we temporarily left behind in the Philippines. And for non-Filipinos, especially entrepreneurs, investors, capitalists, who has something to do dyan po sa Pilipinas, of course, they know, they want to know what is happening in the Philippines po for obvious reasons, not for obvious reasons. So, today, direction na tayo. Today, I'm going to touch a little bit on the issue, one issue po which is also irritating. Some people say it is very irritating. Others say it's also very hot. And others say it's controversial. Now, I have prepared a video clip regarding this very important issue po, which I say very important issue, dahil po it involves ang Vice President natin. So there is a video clip that I'm going to share with you now. It is the third round of the exchange of words between Vice President Inday Sara Duterte and of course ang Undersecretary, very controversial, Undersecretary Claire Castro, si Ate Claire. Ramsey Angeles, no? Idris is also watching. So don't forget, I will be sharing with you and not only to Ramsey but also to our fellow followers dito po sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, no? About video clips between VP Sara and Yusek Claire Castro, no? Don't forget, nandito kayo po sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, sa Facebook tayo, sa YouTube tayo, and TikTok. All I need from you po, kung pwede lang po, no? Sana what I'm asking is not too much. Just like, follow, and sabihin natin, be my followers po, no? Be a follower of Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, because this is meant for all of you po, itong programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. So, okay, let's start. Agad-agad tayo po, that Sunday, medyo relax tayo, and some of us would like to know ano-ano mga balita, mga marites ba yan po, no? Wala tayo dito fake news po. That is one thing sure. Dito sa programa ko po, I don't cater, I don't go for mga fake news po. Lahat may mga ebidensya. I have proof when I talk on this topic, a certain topic po, it is always supported with a video clip. May resibo. Sabi sa Pilipinas po, sa Pilipinas, may resibo po. Alright, to start with po, I want to share with you itong video clip. But, 1,000 apology again po. Before I'm going to share with you itong video clip between Sara Duterte or Inday Sara Duterte and Claire Castro, so I just want to share with you a brief lang ito po, no? A brief video clip wherein I want to share with you po, so that you will have an idea kung paano ang mga Malaysiano, mga Filipinos, mga tourists, foreign tourists natin dito sa Malaysia po, especially in Kuala Lumpur, because I'm now in Kuala Lumpur, how we are going to celebrate ang Year of the Horse. Year of the Horse po. Fire Horse, no? 2026. And that will be ang Chinese New Year celebration po. That will fall on Wednesday, Wednesday ba yun? Tuesday, February 17. No? February 17. Kanina and kahapon, I went around sa mga some malls dito po sa Kuala Lumpur, and one of the malls that I managed to take some video clip dito po sa One Utama. Ito po sa ang location niya dito po sa Petaling Jaya. Now, ang daming tao, and of course nakita po, no? Apart from they celebrated yesterday, or we celebrated yesterday the Valentine's Day here in Malaysia, particularly in Kuala Lumpur. There are a lot of people also who took a time out Saturday and Sunday to relax and do some siguro mga last minute shopping for the Chinese New Year celebration po. And nandito, I will share with you a video clip, a portion or a video clip, brief lang ito po, so that you will have an idea, no? You will have an idea of ano ba talaga, paano ba ang celebration ng Chinese New Year. One of the malls ito po, sa One Utama. Let's watch and listen to this. Ito po mga tao, dyan sa One Utama Mall, is a big mall in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, the entire mall is well decorated with Chinese New Year, sabihin natin decor. So, you can really feel the spirit of Chinese New Year, welcoming of the Fire Horse 2026. Anywhere you go po, any corner you see, ang daming tao and well decorated with Chinese New Year decor. I also noticed because of the celebration Chinese New Year, ang dami din mga sales po, murang-mura, up to 70-80% discount. Maganda talaga po. Today, this season, if you're going to do shopping po, do it during the Chinese New Year or any big celebration po, because they are giving a very good discount po, no? Rebate, discount, no? Makamura talaga kayo po if you do shopping. And of course, I noticed a lot of tao dyan po sa mall, no? When they leave the mall po, they are carrying a lot of things po. In other words, they do some shopping po, no? Shopping, obviously, shopping for the coming Chinese New Year. And of course, kahapon when I went to other malls po, nakita ko po ang dami mga lovebirds, mga lovebirds po. Be it teenagers, be it yun sa middle class, middle age, mga senior citizens and mga super senior citizens po. They took a time out and visit ang mga malls natin to see ang Valentine's decoration and of course ang Chinese New Year decor po. After Chinese New Year po, darating na naman po ang Hari Raya, Hari Raya celebration, and that will be on March. Maybe third week of March ito po, Hari Raya. Because this month po, they're going to start also ang puasa or Ramadan or fasting month ng mga Islam. For the Roman Catholic, mga believers, no, ng Roman Catholic, mga Kristiyano po, we are going to start also our fasting month for 40 days starting on Wednesday, and that is Ash Wednesday po. No? One day after or maybe on the same day po, depende kung nasaan kayo po, lugar, because start of Ramadan depends on what country po. Depende yan po sa when they sighted the moon po, sighting of the moon. And then they will say, okay, today will be the start of Ramadan or Puasa. And same thing goes dyan po sa sabihin natin ang declaration of Hari Raya, Idul Fitri, and that will be next month. So ganun ang sitwasyon po dito sa Malaysia. Festive mood, merrymaking ang atmosphere dito sa Malaysia. And of course, I know, dyan po sa Kota Kinabalu, sa Sabah po, same thing is happening. We are experiencing the same atmosphere of festivity, no? Festivity. So, enjoy na tayo po, no? Chinese New Year na. Tapos na ang New Year natin last December, and ngayon, February, Chinese New Year na naman. And, okay, let's start na po ang sabi natin ng mga video clips sa mga issues dyan po sa Pilipinas. The first video clip that I'm going to share with you po is regarding about, as what I said po, no? There is a report here about Inday Sara Duterte and, of course, Yusek or Undersecretary Claire Castro po. Ang war of words between these two government officials po. Alright, sandali po. Let me share with you itong video clip nilang dalawa. Nilang dalawa po. 429. Okay, saan ba yun? 429 po. And let's watch and listen this. 429. Okay, saan na yun? 429. Okay. Nandito po.
Sara Duterte versus Palace Undersecretary Claire Castro. Si Claire Castro nagdadala na kahihiyan sa ating bayan dahil tinawag siya na spokesperson ng Office of the President. Dapat hindi na siya pinakakinggan at pinapansin. Nakakaya tayo sa internationally, kaya mas nakakahiya po yata ito. Dahil ito mismo ay naayos at nandiyan pa po ang kanyang mukha kung saan pinakita dito isang vice presidente nag-threaten with her assassin laban sa Pangulo. Mas nakakahiya po ito. Nagpapalitan na naman ng patusada ang dalawa. Nagugat yan ang sabihin noon ni VP Sara na ginigipit umano ng Administrasyong Marcos ang mga kaalyadong senador ng bise. Pinasinungalingan niya ng palasyo. At ngayon nga ay pareho silang nahihiya para sa inaasal ng isa't isa. Git ni Castro, hindi nakakahiyang magsabi ng totoo. Ang nakakahiya po ay umaming may kakilalang assassin at handang magpapatay ng Pangulo, ng First Lady, at ng dating House Speaker. Ang nakakahiya po ay hindi gumalang sa order ng court at manuntok ang sheriff. Bawal po yan sa batas. Bukod dyan, hindi rin pinalampas ng palasyo ang eksklusibong pahayag na ito ni VP Sara sa News 5. Unang-una ang tanong, meron pa bang bayan, meron pa bang Pilipinas na pag-uusapan sa taong 2028? Lubog na tayo sa basura, sa baha. Yun yung ikinakatakot ko na baka isang araw magising na lang tayo. Wala nang maayos na gobyerno, magulo na ang bayan. Kung ang kanyang hula ay nagkakatotoo, malamang mangyayari yan kung ang isang leader na iboboto sa 2028 ay isang Manchurian candidate. Isang puppet na isang bansa, baka nga maging probinsya tayo sa bansa. Huwag naman po sana. Bulag daw ang bise dahil hindi nito nakikita ang ginagawa ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Nakakalungkot lamang dahil yan ay galawang Duterte, showing the characteristics of an emotional vulture. Isang buitre, nagpapanggap na concern sa kalagayan ng bansa, when in fact, she admitted that she doesn't want to help the president in his projects for the country. Drama, pero walang gawa. Hindi rin nagustuhan ni Castro ang naging pabirong Valentine's message ni VP Sara sa kanya at kay PBBM. Git ni Castro, pareho silang pamilyado ni Pangulong Marcos kaya hindi ito dapat nagiging biro. Ganito po bang leader, tulad ni VP Sara, ang dapat nating hangaan at dapat nating ilagay sa pedestal? Ang anumang salitang nagagaling sa kanya ay puro paninira, puro insinuation, puro immoralidad. Ang Pangulo po ay mayroong pamilya, mapagmahal na asawa, mabuting ama. At ako rin po ay may pamilya. So sa isang tulad na
ganito. Ito po ay napakababa bilang babae.
Panawagan tuloy ni Yusek sa mga kalyado ng bise.
Isang hiling. Maaari niyo po bang turuan ang Vice Presidente sa kanyang communications? Bigyan niyo po ng comms 1-1.
Sa huli, may Valentine's message si Castro kay VP Sara.
Ang message, Valentine message sa kanya. Bibi Sara, spread love. Not fake news. Not immorality. Don't be a Chucky.
Sean, nagbabalita mula sa frontline. April Montalvo, News 5.
I say, pa-cute-cute pa si Ate Claire po, no? Anyway, yun po, that's how she look at the situation. She has the right for her own opinion po, no? Tingnan natin. Pero karamihan, for the information of mga followers natin dito po, since the time I started blogging and I am focusing on politics dyan po, I noticed that maraming mga Filipino po doesn't like si Atty. Claire Castro, no? Atty. Claire Castro. Because if you look at her also, when she was, wala pa siya po as the spokesperson dyan po sa Malacanang, she is one person who was really supporting si Tatay Digong. And all of a sudden, it changed po when she was appointed to be the undersecretary dyan po or spokesperson dyan po sa Malacanang. And a lot of people are saying that she is one of the tech dogs of BBM, no? Of President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Anyway, that's politics po, no? That's politics, and kayo na bahala po, no? To think whether what she is saying is right or wrong. Right or wrong lang yan po, no? And whether okay ba si Inday Sara Duterte po ang performance niya po, no? But whether we like it or not po, if we base itong mga statement made by Ate Claire, no? Medyo very difficult to believe her, no? Dahil if you look at the poll survey po, no? Mataas pa rin ang trust and performance rating of Inday Sara Duterte or the Vice President po, no? So, yun po ang resulta ng survey, no? Survey po. So, saan tayo mag-believe? Are we going to believe Ate Claire, what she's saying, or ang survey po? Na ang survey po, which, you know, when we talk about survey, it involves not only one or two or three people or individuals. It is a number, sometimes 1,000, 1,005 people interviewed po and got their opinion po, no? On the situation, particularly when we talk about the trust and performance rating of Inday Sara Duterte. So steady increasing ang trust and performance rating of Inday Sara Duterte despite of all these noises against her, no? And kayo na bahala po, kayo na bahala. Anyway, alright, the other thing that I'm going to share with you dito sa programa natin ngayon po, Nick Talk Daria Talk with Nico, is tungkol, remember, yesterday I mentioned something about ang ICC po, no? They already named ang mga o mga tao involved or connected sa war on drugs against President Rodrigo Roa Duterte ko. And nandiyan pa mga pangalan ni Senator Bongo, Senator Bato de la Rosa, si mga police officials po, including ang former DOJ secretary, sino ba yun, Attorney Akire, no? Attorney Akire po. So, meron tayo dito po ang video clip, ang reaction, ang denial made by this names mentioned dyan po sa news kahapon tungkol sa co-perspirators, ng Tatay Digong po. So, let's watch and listen to this video clip. Hold on. Sandali po. Hold on. Alright. 248. Meron tayo dito po. 248. 248 ba ito? Correct ba yun? 248. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Well, attorney, pinangalanan po kayo bilang co-accused sa kaso sa ICC. Ano po yung tungkol niyo sa aligasyon nito?
Natatawa lang po ako dyan eh. Wala naman akong kinalaman dyan sa foreign drugs na yan eh. As a matter of fact, yung charge sa aking extrajudicial killing, wala pong katotohanan yan. Kailanman ay hindi ako nagtangka na makilahok dyan sa kung mayroon mang extrajudicial killing na yan. Ako po ay nanungkulan lamang bilang isang abogado at saka DOJ Secretary. Nabasa ko po dun sa mga news report na ako daw po ay iniimbestigahan tungkol sa aking paghahawak bilang abogado ni Pangulong Duterte nung siya'y mayor pa noong mga 2009, 2010. At saka nung iba daw pong mga members ng Double Death Squad. Alam po ninyo, pagiging abogado, ayan po ang profession ko. Hindi ko maaaring tanggihan yan. At abogado taong po tayo. At yung pangalawa, sabi daw, ako daw ay kasama rin dyan sapagkat ako ay isang naging Secretary ng Department of Justice noong 2016 hanggang April 2018. Nung po ako ay nanunungkulan bilang DOJ Secretary, hindi ko po alam yung ginagawa kung meron mang mga tukang dyan, kung meron mga foreign drugs, wala po akong kilalaman dyan. Pero alam ko ninyo, ang tingin ko dyan, kaya lamang ko sinasali, para magkaroon ng credibility yung sinasabi nila na isang national policy or common plan ng Duterte administration yung pagpatay sa mga drug lords, mga civilian lamang. Pero kailanman po hindi naging policy yan at sa mga tuwid, siguro marami ang dinakaalam na ang inyong po kabang lingkod nung siya ay nanunungkulang pa bilang DOJ Secretary, ako po ang nagdala sa pamilya ni Kia de los Santos, ni Carlo Arnaiz at ni Colonel Guzman. Ako po ang nagdala ng mga ka-relative siya sa mga magulang niya sa Malacanang at ko ay hinirap sa kanila. Hinarap sila ni Pangulong Duterte at yun po, naging bunga po nun, hindi po ba? Dahil lahat ng mga pulis na naging saniin ng kanilang pagkamatay, ang balita ko po ay na-convict silang lahat.
Alright, yan po. Narinig natin ang denial made by ex-DOJ Secretary Aguirre, because he's also mentioned as one of the co-perpetrators ni former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte po, no? That goes also Albayalde, ang Senator Bongo, si Senator De La Rosa, so forth and so on po, no? So yon, perpetrators sila po, mention ang ICC. But anyway, let's see po what's the next. Issue ba sila ng warrant of arrest o ano? Let's see and wait po, no? Let's see and wait and see lang tayo muna. So, talking about this issue, ano kaya po ang statement made by Senator Ping Lacson po, no? Regarding itong kung sakali may warrant of arrest, since itong mga tao were already mentioned as co-perpetrators of Tatay Digong. Mayroon ba warrant of arrest to be issued by ICC? And whether the Philippine government, ang Blue Ribbon Committee chaired by Senator Ping Lacson and other local authorities, no? Will they respect and act on the arrest warrant or warrant of arrest against these personalities or not? nandito po, let me share you a video clip. Ang reaction made by Senator Ping Lacson when he was asked on this particular issue. On this particular issue po. Let's watch and listen to this po. And sana yan po. Let's medyo mahina ng ano natin, no? Anyway, nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this. Let's watch and listen to this po, ha? Okay. Nandito po.
That pro tempore Ping Lacson says any move by the International Criminal Court against Duterte allies and senators Baton de la Rosa and Bongo must go through Philippine courts. Lacson said that even if the ICC or a foreign court issues an arrest warrant, it should first be referred to local courts, which will then decide whether to implement it. He added that De La Rosa and Go should be given the opportunity to avail of all legal remedies, stressing that Philippine judicial processes must be respected. Lacson also said the Senate may discuss possible options, including whether to extend assistance to the two senators, with Senate President Tito Soto possibly calling a caucus to consult members. For now, Lacson said it is too early to determine the Senate's next move, noting that the ICC has yet to issue a bill of particulars detailing the specific charges and possible penalties.
Okay, klarong-klaro po, no? Sabi ni Senator Ping Lacson, in the event na mayroon itong mga warrant of arrest or warrants against these co-perpetrators of Tatay Digong, then sabi niya po, it has to go to sa proseso po, no? It means we have to respect the Philippine court, no? The Philippine court po, and let the Philippine court decide the next move. Sana lang po that will come true. Because what happened kay Tatay Digong when he was surrendered by the Marcos administration po, ang warrant of arrest niya po was never given the chance to be forwarded to the Philippine court. No? Philippine court, which is functional. And kaya nga, this is for this reason, ang kampo ni Duterte, they say it was not a surrender, but it was a kidnapping of Tatay Digong. So, dahil dyan po, nag-surrender or nag-kidnap si Tatay Digong by the Marcos administration, and he is now under the custody or detained siya po dyan po sa kustodiyan ng ICC or International Criminal Court. So, let's see po what will happen. Again, wait and see na naman ang position ng mga Filipinos po. But definitely, we are watching carefully. We are watching carefully, religiously, we are alert, and we want to see kung may justice ba. May justice pa ba dito sa Pilipinas. Now, the other topic that I want to touch is on the since we mentioned already Senator Ping Lacson, who is the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Nandun na po ang mga istorya, mga balita po about when they are going to, or they're planning already to make the Blue Ribbon Committee report. And they want to submit it for to seek signatures from the committee members, and after which, once they will get these required signatories, no? 11 out of the 20 senators, they need, or the chairman needs 11 signatories po, no? Then it will be forwarded. Once they get the 11, it means po their committee report has been approved by the Senate, by the senators, and then it will be brought to the plenary, no? For final approval na po ng committee. In the event that they won't be able to get the 11, then it will just be a chairman's report. And mayroon na din po mga balita na, or officially they already submitted ang minority committee report, but Senator Ping Lacson refused to accept it. Sabi ni Senator Ping Lacson, we only have one Blue Ribbon Committee, and there must only be one committee report, not a committee report from the minority and another committee report from the majority bloc. Klaro yan po. No? Now, let's listen to the reaction na made by to this statement also made by Ping Lacson, Senator Ping Lacson po regarding this particular issue. Sana ba tayo dito? 114, 118. Sandali po, ha? Ito ang problema sa mga senior citizen. This is the problem. Mga senior citizen, nahirapan na tayo ano ito. Alright. Ping Lacson report is 214. 214. Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this when he was interviewed by the local media dyan po sa Maynila. Let's watch and listen to this.
Pero lahat sila binigyan namin tigil-tigil sa kopya. Para sa ganoon, kung magkaroon ng link, matitrace namin kung saan opisina nagaling.
So, the mere fact po na may mga binagong wordings, you're confident po na marami na yung makukumbinse na pumirma?
Yeah, confident. Pero alam mo, may kanya-kanyang pag-iisip din yung mga membro, yung mga kasamahan ko. So, it's up to them, actually. Hindi naman pwedeng ipilit sa kanila kung ayaw nila mag-firma o kaya mag-dissent sila. So, yun, hintay na lang pag-resume ng session sa Wednesday. Kung okay yung 11 signatures, din ang i-file yung sa Bills and Index para maipadala sa calendar for ordinary business para ma-report out na sa floor.
Sir, gaano po ba yung mga wordings na pinalitan? Aside po doon sa recommendation na charge, pinalitan po na isa ilalim sa preliminary investigation of BI. Yun lang po ba yung pinaka-major na pagbabago sa wordings na nangyari?
Tama yun, pero wala naman talaga legal effect yun eh. Kasi pinilitan lang yun, isirain lang naman ang meaning kasi pag sinabing recommended or for filing of charges, ang ibig talaga sabihin doon, recommended for preliminary investigation kasi hindi naman pwede mag-file ng kaso ang Blue Ribbon o yung Senado sa korte. No? Pag sinabing filing of charges, talaga sa DOJ o kaya sa ombudsman ang tuloy noon for preliminary investigation.
And then, umaasa po ba kayo na may pipirma from the minority? Kasi according to Senator Robin Padilla, hindi naman pala siya miyembro po ng Blue Ribbon, ang parang advisory sa kanila ni Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano, meron silang minority report. So, yun ang kanilang dapat na suportahan.
Last time I checked, Sally, isa lang ang Blue Ribbon Committee. So, isa lang dapat ang committee report. So, I'd like to, with all due respect, gusto ko i-correct yung kanilang sinasabi na meron silang sariling report. Sinabi ko na ito na iisa lamang ang Blue Ribbon na committee na siya maglalabas ng committee report.
Alright, yun po, no? Klaro-klaro, sabi ni Senator Ping Lacson, isa lang ang Blue Ribbon Committee, isa lang ang committee report po. And he doesn't recognize itong minority Blue Ribbon Committee report po, no? Which was submitted by ang grupo ni Minority Leader, si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, as well as sila Senator Rodante Marcoleta, no? Marcoleta. Shoutout muna tayo kay Mary Lou Pentojo as well as si Maricel who is also watching itong programa natin ni Talk the Real Talk with Nico. Alright, the next topic that I want to share with you po is ito. Ito, narinig niyo ba? No? Tukol ang message between alleged messages or communication between President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos and former Yusek Adrian Bersamin, no? Bersamin po. Ito nagiging hot issue din ito po because this is linking President Bongbong Marcos Jr. PBBM sa kickback anomalies, no? Kickback anomalies. And let me share with you itong statement made by Congressman Erice on the text messages po. Congressman Erice on the text messages and listen carefully po, no? Maganda ito po so you will have a clear idea of ano talaga itong issue. So, let's watch and listen to this. Sandali po. Asan na yun, ha? Saan na yan? Hold on. Oops. 307. 307 man ito, no? Okay. 307 po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Ang pinaka-gist ng conversation over months of text messages na merong 8 billion, actually mga almost 8 billion from the platform Progress, from Engineer Bernardo, another 1.4 billion from the Bureau of Customs, and another almost 500 million from the President's confidential funds. Yun yung subject ng kanilang conversation from 2024 to 2020. And this was all pinakauli sa July 9, yun yung pinakauli.
And this was shown to you by Congressman Leviste, both to you and to the members of the Makabayan bloc, and they also made the same announcement as well, if I recall correctly.
Not the Makabayan bloc, but also some members of Congress.
Sir, have you been, I suppose the bigger challenge at this point is, of course, it's all interesting, it should be looked into, but the bigger challenge is establishing authentication or authenticity. How can one be able to authenticate that that message really did come from the president, and that's a real screenshot of a conversation?
That's why I'm urging Senator Lacson, because he's the first one who named the Bersamins as recipients of the Tarto 8 billion. Diba? Siya yung una nagsabi nun eh. So, kaya lang, pagkatapos niyang sabihin yun, bigla na lang nagkaroon ng gulo, nag-resign tinanggal si Bersamin, pero hindi niya pinatawag. Yun na, malaking misteryo sa akin yan eh. Malaking misteryo sa akin yan. Na hindi yan pinatawag ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Diba? So, I think it's high time for Senator Lacson to call the Bersamins, call the Viste, para ma-verify ko na very serious allegations. At nakita ko hindi mo pwede basta na lang i-compose yung mga text messages na yun. In fact, there are items in the text messages that do not concern IGAS but other important national issues. So yun yung nakita ko. At actually, yung nakita ko mga items talagang lumalabas, ginamit ito, maramihan dito ginamit sa 2025 national and local elections. And nakalagay din doon that the Alliance's senators received something from this source. So, syempre, kilala nyo naman kung sino yung mga Alliance's senators.
Alright, yun po. Narinig natin po, no? Tungkol itong text messages between former Undersecretary Adrian Bersamin and President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. And I totally agree with Congressman Erice, because it was Senator Raping Lacson during the Blue Ribbon Committee. He mentioned about the name of Adrian Bersamin, no? But unfortunately po, ang committee niya po, ang Blue Ribbon Committee niya po, they never call itong or invited si Adrian Bersamin sa committee po for investigation or to be a resource person po, no? And hindi lang po si Congressman Erice, who is wondering what happened, why Senator Ping Lacson did not invite itong si Yusek Bersamin. A lot of people, a lot of politicians po, no, are questioning Senator Ping Lacson. Why? Every time nandoon ang mga pangalan po, no, and identified itong mga individuals with the administration, cut na ang investigation. That is the problem there po, no? That's why you cannot blame the people if they don't trust the government anymore. No? The government has made a lot of promises po left and right. That includes also the big fish, people involved in the flood control projects po, anomalous projects. They will not have Merry Christmas last December. But it did not happen despite repeated promises made by President, no other than our President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. And then they said that the start of 2026, we will see a lot more people will be behind bars. But so far, 1 or 2 lang po. 1 or 2 lang. And that is Vizcaya and former Senator Bong Revilla. The rest po, why? Wala. Hanggang ngayon, wala po. What is the updates there po? That's why the people are not happy with the government. With the government po. Alright? Now, remember the Supreme Court made a decision the other day about the impeachment of Inday Sara Duterte, which was filed last year. And no less than our Senate President, President Vicente Soto III, was not happy with the decision of the Supreme Court. And now, they are, some people are filing, sabi natin, indirect contempt against Senate President Vicente Soto po. Let's watch and listen to the statement made by one of the complainants, the former Congressman Paras po, no? Former Congressman Paras, about the indirect contempt against Senate President Soto, Vicente Soto po. Let's watch and listen to this po. 125, alright? Nandito po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Harapan po mga kabayan. It pains me to put my name in the complaint, but in spirit I am with the lawyers who are filing an in contempt indirect contempt case against Senator Soto for first maligning the Supreme Court and creating an atmosphere by which he is supposed to be an example of being a legislator. He is encouraging people not to believe in the Supreme Court, being the final arbiter of the interpretation of the Constitution and the law. Sinamahan ko itong mga kaibigan ko for the filing of the charges against Senate President Soto to serve as a lesson for any official who, discourage people to believe in the court of final resort, which is the Supreme Court.
Alright, na yun po, narinig natin, and let's see po what will happen. Let's hear and see and watch what will happen next week po. I will continue to monitor the situation when it comes to these issues po, no? That I just mentioned dito po sa programa natin. Dito sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And, before I'm going to conclude this program, I just wanted to share with you another news article po, no? And this time around is another significant, sabihin natin, activity to be held in the month of February po, no? For the information of my followers dito po sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, Progressive Coalition Tindig Pilipinas expect more than 30,000 po to join its third trillion peso march on February 25, which will also be a commemoration of EDSA People's Power. Ibig sabihin po, there will be the third trillion peso march on February 25 to in collaboration to commemorate the EDSA People Power. The gathering is among the series of protests calling for stronger action against corruption in flood control projects. Tinig Pilipinas co-convener Francis Kiko Aquino D said the event themed Tayo ang People Power Laban sa Korupsyon at Dinastiya will begin at 8 a.m. Alas 8 ito po, 8 a.m. in the morning with a prayer march from EDSA Shrine in Pasig. They said the decision to hold a third march was made collectively by Tindig Pilipinas and its partners that include Catholic Church groups, labor unions, and civil society groups po. Doon na po ang mga pari po. He noted that when the government had promised that Big Fish would be jailed by mid-December, there have been few developments since then. Former Senator Ramon Bongdevilla Jr. has been charged and arrested over flood control projects in Bulacan. Senators Jingo Estrada and Joe Villanueva are also facing preliminary investigations on preliminary recs. Yan po. And let's see po what will happen. And of course, the organizers of this 3 billion peso march is inviting everybody to join sa February 25. Let's see po kung there will be a big crowd on February 25. Timing po, no? That is the, we are going to celebrate ang People's Power, EDSA po. Every year yun po, no? Because in 1986, nagawa the first People's Power po sa EDSA, dyan po February 25 yata, 25, 26. So, let's see po what will happen. And of course, itong programa natin nito, the Real Talk with Nico, will continue to follow up itong mga news sa Pilipinas tungkol sa sabihin natin itong co-perpetrators ni Tatay Digong, what will happen to them, ang gulo between Inday Sara Duterte and Atty. Claire, which is hindi talaga yung issue kasi walang credibility si Yusek Claire Castro, no? If you compare Inday Sara and Claire Castro, malayo talaga po, and I don't think so na kailangan we have to really put emphasis on mga salita ni Claire Castro. But anyway, we have to listen din po kasi she represents Malacanang, ang presidente. And definitely, and I will also check on the indirect impeachment, indirect complaint against ito si Senate President Vicente Sotto po when he question ang decision ng Supreme Court po regarding ang impeachment complaint against Inday Sara Duterte, which was submitted, declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court po, and medyo he's not happy, and kaya nga this is now what happened. May mga tao po, they brought the issue sa Supreme Court po and calling for to punish si Tito Sen for itong indirect contempt sa Supreme Court po. So let's watch and see what will happen next. So siguro hanggang dito na lang muna ang programa natin nito, The Real Talk with Nico. I hope and pray that you started Sunday in a nice mood. Magandang mood natin po. And you will end ang weekend natin in the same mood. Happy mood tayo po. And look forward for a better, exciting, fruitful, and problem-free week which we are going to start tomorrow. So with this, Nico Fabian would like to say once again, thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye, and I love you all.